Hi friends and welcome. We are continuing on our tour of Bardstown, and today we're going to speak with you about the beautiful Bourbon Manor Bed and Breakfast.
That's right. It was quite an amazing stay, and we can't wait to share it with you in today's video.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
So on our trip to Bardstown that we're making this series of videos related to, we wanted to stay in a quaint local place. We'd been to Bardstown several times before, and we'd seen the Bourbon Manor. We did some research, read up on it, and decided that had to be the place we stayed this time. We were actually in Bardstown to judge a barbecue contest. We stayed the first part of our trip at Dant Crossing at the Legacy at Dant, and we'll have another video on that. It was quite amazing too. And then we stayed on after the contest and stayed at the Bourbon Manor.
Now, the Bourbon Manor was built around 1820, which makes it about 200 years old. It's got quite a history. There's two main buildings on the property. One is the Federal Building, which has 3 rooms as well as a sitting room or a living room, and you can actually rent the entire building out. The second building that we stayed in was the Manor, which has 7 rooms. We stayed in the Distillers Den, is the room that we stayed in, but it also includes along with the 7 rooms, there's a parlor, a breakfast area, a bar, a little gift shop area.
Right. And one of the nice things about the Distillers Den, and it's also one of the reasons we picked that room, it has an exterior entrance. You literally park your car right outside your door. The Distillers Den, and I believe it's the honeymoon hideaway. Yeah. Those 2 rooms have an exterior entrance. The others you go in, kind of like a traditional bed and breakfast. You go in and your rooms are on the inside of the building.
And they're all named after bourbon drinks.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, what is some of them? I think it's like the hot toddy, the classic Sazerac. They've made a lot of fun with the rooms.
Sweet.
And but the history of the Bourbon Manor actually dates back to the 1700s in that whole area. Many prominent families in Nelson County have owned the property or owned the manor itself. It is on the National Historic Registry. It's also a Kentucky landmark, so it is for historical and architectural significance. During the Civil War, it was occupied by both Confederate and Union soldiers. Both of them used it as a base of operations during that time. It's been a private residence. It's been a boarding house. It's been been apartment units, the current owners have remodeled it, updated it, and it's been a bed and breakfast now for over 25 years. It has been featured in many different media articles, publications. It's listed as one of the top B&Bs in Kentucky.
And I believe it. After what we experienced, it was fabulous.
And in fact, the current owners just spent over $350,000 updating the Bourbon Manor. I don't think it took away a bit from the historic significance or the beauty of it or the history look of it. It just really updated it to make it a much better B&B experience.
So behind our room, they had a beautiful patio. And by the way, I want to talk just a moment about all the grounds and all the sculptures that they were, all the concrete sculptures,
right,
lots
fountains.
Of water fountains. It was beautiful.
It really was. They've done a wonderful job making this, even though you could actually walk downtown. It's about a half mile to the downtown of Bardstown. Not that it's a bustling metropolis, but it is kind of in the middle of town, but this feels like an oasis.
It really did.
You know, you drive into their driveway and you're right, the landscaping, everything that the owners have done.
Very serene and beautiful.
Right,
so we would go and sit on the patio each evening. Stephanie, the one who would help register you to go in and out. She's also the bartender. She would make drinks for us, and she's a wonderful bartender. She made me a great mint julep while I was there.
Yeah, and she's amazing. She will bend over backwards to make sure you get exactly what you're wanting. Nancy mentioned her mint julep, and we ordered. We thought, oh, we're in Kentucky. Let's have a couple mint juleps. Well, she didn't have access to the crushed ice machine, and you know this is very.
You're supposed to have crushed
ice. And she's like, oh, I've got to have crushed ice. We're like, it's okay, you know, it's fine. And she actually took a mallet and hand crushed all the ice for our mint julep to make sure that we had it exactly.
And it was delicious.
It was really wonderful. So say hi to Stephanie when you get there. She's a wonderful bartender and a great hostess right there. It's the other thing about the bar that Stephanie runs and that is in there. They have a separate cabinet that they'll open up for you, and they have quite a few rare allocated bourbons. So if you want to try some different bourbons by the glass,
That's a good way to do it.
At an affordable price.
Yeah.
This is a good way that you can do that.
So Todd and Tyler are the owners. Todd is the host and Tyler is the cook. He has been a chef for 18 years. He's actually working on a cookbook. And friends, I am not kidding you. This seriously has been the best breakfast we've ever had at a bed and breakfast.
No, just absolutely spectacular.
Hands down. I mean, the entrees, the egg dishes, and the way they were
The pastries.
presented, the pastry, all from scratch. I mean, we had breakfast dessert.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it was amazing with like these pastries with bourbon glaze and all homemade. It was scrumptious.
It was. And Todd was an excellent host. He was right there. If you needed anything, he would get it for you. Be it anything from water to a coffee refill to if you wanted anything additional to eat, which I can't imagine you would because it was a lot to eat. You are not going to go away from there hungry, and you will not be disappointed in the breakfast you're going to get at the Bourbon Manor Bed and Breakfast. So,
one more thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
It was this was a place where there were actually 2 different breakfast seating times. So it wasn't like you could just come down to breakfast at your convenience and maybe serve yourself from a buffet line like many bed and breakfasts do. You were actually served by Todd, and you
Depending
had
on the time that was
you had
arranged.
to schedule the time that you wanted, the early seating or the later seating for breakfast.
Yeah, and they will come and talk to you the night before and ask what time is best for you to have breakfast and work that out with you. One thing about Todd is he does have really deep roots in bourbon.
He does.
Yeah, oh yeah, so his great something granduncle was E.H. Taylor, which is that bottle of bourbon back there,
Which one?
The cardboard tube.
Oh,
That's an E.H. Taylor. So that was his, and then his great grandfather worked at Wild Turkey for 40 years. He's been a board member of the Kentucky Bed and Breakfast Association. In fact, he's been president of the Kentucky Bed and Breakfast Association. And like you said, Tyler being a chef, and these guys have an amazing passion, not just for bourbon, but for running a world-class bed and breakfast.
Yeah, and we're not kidding. When you guys, you will not be disappointed. You seriously will not. We would rate this a
10 out of 10, no question.
Hands down.
Yeah,
best B&B experience ever.
Yeah, so be sure if you're in the Bardstown area, try to make your plans around the Bourbon Manor. And one thing to note, they usually close 1 to 2 days a week because it is a very small operation. It's Todd, Tyler, and Stephanie, so they have to have days off. Yeah, they have to have some time off. So they will schedule different days during the week to take a little bit of time off, but that's built into their availability schedule on their website. So other than that, we will put a link in the description to the Bourbon Manor, some other places that we've mentioned here. And as we always say, if you're liking this series, especially since we have an ongoing series on Bardstown, please hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and you'll see as new videos in this series come out. And if you thought this video was helpful, bang that like button.
Thank you, friends. We appreciate you, and we will see you next time.